Alright, this is my new racing venture. It's a INEX, which stands for Inexpensive Legends car. It's basically a spec dirt track car, but these cars run in multiple different series, whether it's dirt oval, asphalt oval, which this car was set up for, and there's multiple Legend road course series. They also are allowed in NASA time trial and SCCA hill climb. So this car is cheap, inexpensive, really fast, and affordable. It's a kind of a, I guess you would call it a double wishbone. I'm not sure. Maybe. Yeah, double wishbone. Front suspension. They run spec shocks. They're $99 shocks. So there's no big money involvement on your suspension setup or anything like that. So the only variances can be spring rates. There's even like ride height minimums and other things. The front knuckle is based off like a late 80s Toyota Corolla. And you can run the Corolla brakes, or you can run these Wilwood INEX stamped small calipers. So it makes pad and brake options easy. It runs a Yamaha 1250 4-cylinder from 80s, 90s era, I believe, motorcycles. You can also run a 1200cc carbureted quad carbs. These have, I guess, the top dollar carburetors that you can get. It runs a spec ignition box, so you can't mess with timing or rev limiter, anything like that. They can, if you race in a INEX series, they can pull your ignition box, test it to see if you had raised the rev limiter or any kind of aftermarket or alternate tuning. It is an air-cooled engine. So the front of the head is typically not so bad. It's always the back of the head that needs the cooling, but having the dual fans really helps with longevity. It has a big front oil cooler for the size. The drivetrain is basically the motorcycle setup, but right here, instead of having the chain drive that would go to the rear of the motorcycle, they put a hub on there that bolts up to a drive shaft. Shifter linkage down here, so it's basically motorcycle sequential shifting. Clutchless shifting, 1 down 4 up, or 1 down 5 up, however you want to say it. Here's the shifter right here, runs down, drive shaft to the rear to a Toyota 10-inch rear end. So the drive shaft's offset to the right, kind of helps with the balance of the car, so it's not a center drive shaft. Driver's obviously on the left, but you have a short axle and a long axle. I don't think it would be like front wheel drive where you're going to get torque steer with unequal length axles, but potentially that is the complaint with the short long, and that could be why it's not desired for road racing. But to me, I feel like a solid axle, regardless of the length, should pull the same on both ends, but I could be wrong. Little 5-gallon fuel cell in the rear. This car ran last year's rules, where it ran on the Federal 595 Super S on a 13 by 8-inch wheel. Drum brakes in the rear. The right side tire is an asphalt oval. Take a punishment. But like any other car, you can rotate them around. It's small, so I got to take it out to Inex to get the rear firewall moved back about 3 or 4 inches. That'll buy me some leg room, because as of right now there's no way I could drive it. I'm definitely looking forward to the different series in the area to run with, and but mostly at the Fayetteville Dirt Track and possibly the Rockfish. I know Rockfish, I heard everybody gets banged up a little bit, so we'll see about that. But I'm gonna tear it down to the bare chassis, and then we'll start the big boy conversion out of Charlotte.